My name is Raveshni Naidoo. I currently fulfill the role as Chief of Staff at Sun International, reporting to the Chief Executive Officer. I think for me, inclusion in the workplace, specifically for women, is being given the opportunity, to have the opportunity to be in the right rooms for the right discussions, but also being acknowledged for the input and the value that they can actually bring in an organization. I think in many instances, most women are left behind. It's seen that men probably they're able to sell themselves, if I can use that word, a lot better than women can, even though women might have better skills and capabilities and know how to execute what needs to happen. When it comes to actually selling the ideas that they have, in most cases, men tend to do that a lot better than women, or it's perceived that they tend to do it a lot better than women. And also, I think when it comes to women as well, we tend to look a lot into the detail of how we would want to execute something. And men, they somehow find the sweet spot on how to actually sell it in a very quick and easy way without getting into the details of stuff, if I can put it that way. Okay. So I think in terms of sustainability in hospitality, and if I can talk about it from a Sun International perspective, we've been on a journey the last 3 or 4 years in terms of how we embed sustainability in the organization itself. But the way we've managed to achieve that is definitely through the support and guidance that comes through from the top all the way down. So from our board level perspective, in terms of understanding the importance of sustainability in the organization itself, through to our executives, and also the people that actually execute and make sustainability work in the organizations are our general managers, because they take that strategy that we have and they execute it for us and drive the sustainability culture in the business itself. It's also, those that are at the coalface. For us, those are our sheep professionals. It's our colleagues that work on the social side. It's across the group itself. And somehow we have managed to look at how do we bring everybody along this journey to try and affect the necessary changes we see that positions us as driving sustainability in hospitality. So the journey we've been on the last 3 or 4 years is we've established what we call Sustaining Sun at Sun International, and that's our framework for how we include all aspects from an ESG perspective in our business. So it's looking across the various areas. In under E, we've got our Enviro Ambition, which is how we look at it from an environmental perspective in terms of water, waste, electricity, carbon emissions, biodiversity. From a social perspective, it's all about community and our people, and how do we assist them. And there's various areas we look at there. We look at it from a socio-economic development perspective, health and safety, from an enterprise and supply development. So how do we encourage local procurement and build up suppliers? But most importantly, it's how we look at it from our people perspective. How do we ensure transformation? How do we look at our employee wellness, women empowerment, leadership, all of that under our social. And then we look at it from a governance perspective, is how do we managing our risks? How we look at it from a diversity perspective, and also being the sector that we're in terms of from a gambling perspective, how we look at responsible gambling as well. So those are like the key areas that we've looked at that will allow us to sustain Sun, and that's why we've termed our framework Sustaining Sun. So within Sun International, we've got a strong women empowerment program itself. So that's linked to training and interventions for women performers in the business itself. We have our talent mobility, where we've seen quite a few ladies come through those programs and move into middle and senior management positions in the organization itself, and specifically in the gaming space. If we look at it from a general manager perspective, we've moved one of our professionals from one of the smaller units towards being a general manager at another property, and she's shown tremendous results where she's sitting, and is in the process of being put into an interim regional general manager position itself. So that just shows that, if you are dedicated, committed, and work hard, it's not going to be overlooked within Sun International. I mean, if I talk about from my own perspective, I used to sit as the group ESG manager here at Sun International. We've had changes in our organizations where we've got a new chief executive, and I've now stepped into a chief of staff role, which is a brand new position within the organization itself. It positions me to be in almost all key discussions that happen at a company decision-making level. So it's allowing me to look at things very differently within Sun International, using my background in sustainability as well, in understanding, where it would be positioned in this new journey that we're undertaking within Sun itself. So definitely, I think for women, we have the skills, we have the potential, and it's all about us having the self-belief in ourselves that we can step up into roles that have traditionally been taken by men, and that we can do well. And I know here at Sun, they do encourage that, and they do allow us to have those opportunities. Okay, so I think in terms of uplifting women, Sun International over the last 3 years has had a KPI of improving our procurement spend with Black women-owned businesses, and that has definitely been a standout for us. So we have had external conferences, women in business summits, where we've invited women-owned business in specific categories to come through. We've shared their details within the organization, that these are ladies that are available to do business with you, and we've seen an uptick in that. In terms of achievement of that KPI, we've had success over the last 2 years in terms of achieving those specific KPIs, and it's been across a broad range of categories, and it's been encouraging to see our units work with these women. In our integrated annual report and our ESG reports over the last 2 years, we've highlighted the case studies of these women that we've partnered with. So definitely from an external stakeholder perspective, we've driven creating the spaces for new and emerging businesses, specifically women-led businesses, to partner with us. Internally, over the last 2 years, there has been a drive in terms of women empowerment and leadership in the business through various workshops that have been held. And like I've said, we've seen the shift in it from a talent mobility perspective, for women moving into more gaming-related positions and middle and senior management positions in the organization as well. So there's definitely a focus on that, both internally and externally at Sun. I mean, if I have to look at the journey that I have been on, I think one of the most important things is to have a belief in yourself that you can actually be in that leadership position. And sometimes that belief comes from honing in on skills that you have, and then skills that you would need to acquire to get you to that leadership level. I think for me, it's definitely been a journey of self-reflection over the last few years in terms of where I was and where I see myself going, and what do I need to do to get myself to be able to be confident and comfortable talking in the space that I work in if given those opportunities. So I think that's the one thing I would encourage women to do is, sometimes we need to have that little bit of self-reflection and have the difficult conversations on where we're at and where we want to go and how do we need to improve ourselves to get there. And then it's all about having that confidence and self-belief in yourself that you can actually add value. What you're doing is valuable. The ideas that you have, perhaps at the first go, it might not be received in the manner in which you would like it to be, but to never give up, to take whatever feedback you're given, go back, look at it and see, okay, how do I turn a no into a yes? And I think that's been important for me over the last few years, is to, where you do get that rejection, yes, feel your feelings for that day, but then how do I move forward on that? And I think that's been important for me in pushing forward. But I think it's also the people that you surround yourself with and who you have within your circle that encourages you. It's sometimes difficult, and I've noticed it where, you might not necessarily get other women that would champion you or that would be supportive, and it's very sad to see that, but it's very important to have good people around you that are encouraging you and that are supporting you in whatever journey you're on. And when you do get that opportunity to step into a position where you do have the ear of leadership above you, take those opportunities and use it to put forward in the right manner the ideas and thoughts that you have. And sometimes, what we might think is something that people might not want to be interested in. It's all about how you would position it. And I think that's the other thing. And something I've also learned along the way is sometimes you've got to plant the seeds for longer term. You might not get what you want now, but if you plant that seed and you slowly water it, eventually the leadership will come back to you and ask you, okay, how do we execute on this? So those are other things that I have learned along the way in my journey. What advice? I would say is that, learn, be open to learning. Not that I wasn't, but I think, when you get out of university, you think, you've done all the learning, there's no more learning to be done. But I think what I have learned actually over the last 3 years is that the learning never stops. There's always something new in whatever space you're in to diversify your skill set. And when I look back, on my career, I could have diversified my skill set a lot more had I started doing it earlier and recognizing the value in it. It's not to say when you start off in your career that's where your career is going to be. I mean, if I look back at myself, I started out in a very technical environmental field. And when I look at where I am now, I am completely out of it. But it's because of the last 2 or 3 years, I've diversified into understanding the other aspects of sustainability and ESG, which has now enabled me to step kind of like out of the sustainability field into an area where I'm now positioned to look at a company or a business holistically and see where I can leverage those skills that I have. So I think it is to always learn, always grow, always try and diversify what it is you're in. And where you start is not necessarily where you're going to end up in your career. You could go down very much different paths depending on where you're at certain points in your life. So for me, it's, had I continued learning and growing early on in my career might have been different. But I think that's the one thing I would tell myself or anyone younger than me is that have the appetite to continually grow and learn, because you never know where it might take you. Not about where you start, it's about the journey that you take. And yes, there will be deviations and bumps along the road, but if your end goal is there and you keep working towards it, you will get there. And for me, my personal philosophy is to strive for excellence in everything that I do, whether it's on the work front, if it's personal, anything that I do is to strive for excellence in how I would want to achieve that. So that's just me.